take today itself, you have several thoughts, several feelings from the time of your getting away from the bed till now. You have several thoughts, several feelings. Are you responsible for any feeling, any thoughts? Are you creating any thoughts or any feeling? Or are they coming on its own? Or you are creating? Everything happens on its own. You are not creating not a single thought, not even a single feeling. You are not creating.
No, but not even my response. That's a paradox.
That is the natural. It is a natural thing. It comes, and but at the same time, when we have some agony or pleasure, if you have some pleasurable, happy feeling, another response comes. How nice it would be! I will be here. If it is, it will be. If it will proceed further, it will be very nice. So in the same way, if you have some agony, some problem within yourself, you have some response to be free from that. So it is an additional response. So for first response comes some agony or pleasure, whatever comes naturally in the natural course of time. And at the same time, if you have some sorrow or some unbearable feeling you have, and you have some response to be free from that feeling. So when the thing, the response to free from that feeling also comes naturally. You are not creating that. It also comes naturally. And afterwards, you adopt the second thought. So yes, I must be free from. Then only you are entering your conscious effort. So we have to be free from this conscious effort. Whatever happens unconsciously, it will go away very soon. But if you enter consciously, then the problem will not solve. So we have to stop our conscious action. Thereby you have to have some understanding. You can examine. You can think and decide whatever you can use your total brain to have this understanding. So if you come to this understanding, you have no business, you can no duty to set you right. Then you will have the understanding. There will be no business for myself. Then this understanding will operate. If you have anything, if you do anything against you, let it happen unconsciously, unintentionally. There is no wrong about it. But if you do anything consciously and intentionally, that alone creates the problem. So then against it is against your understanding. So if you good enough to understand that you have no business psychologically, then it will come to your help. Then you will not do it consciously. So whatever comes will come only unconsciously. But if anything comes unconsciously, it will settle down unconsciously. Whenever it comes to the conscious level, the very moment of the entrance of the conscious level, it disappears. But when we interfere, then only we make it giving by our resistance, we give life to them, life to the problem. Otherwise, whatever comes will disappear. There cannot be any continuous moment. Each and every moment, new movement alone come, new feeling alone can come. Each and every moment, new feeling alone can come. There cannot be any continuous moment. That is the nature of our brain, nature of our system. Each and every moment, new thought alone can come, new feeling alone can come. Only because of interference, we give life to that feeling. Otherwise, whatever comes will go away very naturally.
So that's actually stepping out of a comfort zone or a reaction. Yeah? When you're not reacting, you're not acting according to the past, then every moment can be fresh and new and nothing is repeating.
The important point is that I understand is that isn't something that you can do. It's not a practice that you do. It's not something that you try not to do or try to do. It's only through the understanding of the reality of the situation then you give up and this is the way it is. Things just come and go.
But in the olden days, it is said like surrender to God. When we surrender to God, giving everything in the hands of God, thereby we assume no responsibility. Thereby putting down the responsibility. So the natural and important thing is that we should not take any responsibility in our hand. Whether it may be in the name of your understanding or in the way of surrender, whatever it be, we should not take any responsibility to correct ourselves.
Right, but even coming to an understanding of surrender,
Surrender
in itself is a step.
Surrender, you can have surrender. But surrender is only through faith. But if you have the capacity to understanding, you cannot surrender, because by surrender means you have to put up everything in the hands of God. But partial surrender is not surrender. So there must be total surrender. If you surrender for sometimes and getting back for sometimes, it is not surrender. You have to surrender absolutely. So it is not possible nowadays. And the understanding alone is possible in that, in this age. Understanding alone is possible. Surrender is not possible. But here, what I am saying is also a kind of surrender. Here, but anyhow, we understand for ourselves. We have no capacity. Thereby, the surrender happens. Thereby, we put down all our responsibility. Basically, it is just like surrender.
It's like surrender,
Yeah.
but it's not total.
Surrender, the real surrender happens only through faith upon God and everything. But here, the faith upon God is not necessary. The very real estimation of ourselves, the real estimation of our capacity itself is enough. We can understand what is the capacity of ourselves, what is the reason for our failure, what is the nature of our struggle. If you understand ourselves, and if you understand, if you are examining the way of our action, then by you can come to conclusion, you have no business to correct yourself. If you have the understanding, then you will not, then there will you put down your responsibility. If you feel you can do something, then you cannot put down your responsibility. Then whenever you feel you cannot do, then only you put down your responsibility. So you have to understand, you cannot get success in your psychological struggle, then only you put down your responsibility. You have to be sure that you cannot control your psychological structure, you cannot succeed your psychological structure, then only you can understand properly and you can put down everything. If you have any glimpse that I can control myself, then you will not put down.
Well, as Westerners, we are, compared to Indians, we are very strongly conditioned to believe that we can control things. I mean, even in the Vedas, there's this karma yoga, jnana yoga. You don't control things, but you kind of do. If you think you're a person, be a person. If you understand you have no control, then great, go each way. But Westerner, there's no jnana yoga. We control things. Everything in our society is about you're supposed to take control.
Yeah.
So the idea that we're just going to give that up, that's going to be lost from our psychological structure, that's not something that's just going to happen because someone says it's a good idea. That's just my observation. I mean, we all have experiences of the truth of that. It is true. We have no control, but we are so strongly conditioned.
What he's saying.
Because we do not believe that our world is perfect as it is. So we're constantly trying to change it.
You cannot? Please, you will.
He's saying that.
I'm also from Australia.
He's saying that in the West we are very strongly conditioned to believe that we can change.
You can change.
And that we are responsible, and that we can change ourselves, and that we can create things. And
Then, if we have the idea, then we have to try. But how many times we can try? 1,000 times and million times we can try. But if you feel the failure, then you can get some lesson from that, your failure.
True.
Then only
That's
it is
the process.
intelligent. Then only you can consider to be intelligent. We can study something from our failure. That is the nature of our mind. We can have some idea, we can have some knowledge from our failure. And we may try. After trying alone, then only we can come to the conclusion it is waste of energy.
I agree. I think every Western person who is here has some of that experience. What I say is that for you as an Indian person, this exists already in your culture. So when you're 3 years old, you're getting reflections in your psychological structure that maybe I am not in control. You understand? For Westerner, this happens when if we are lucky, when we're 20, 30. Until then, every part of our psychological structure is about you must take control. You are a person. So all I'm saying is that although what you say may be ultimately true, it is very difficult for Westerners to just hear that and change everything in their psychological structure, even from experience. Like we understand the truth and then we flip back. I tell you, if I go back to Australia today, I will be surrounded. Every single person I know will believe through and through and reflect back to me that I am a person, that I have control, that I must take control. And so what I'm saying is, if even in the Vedas, even in India, there is this tradition of Jnana Yoga that says you have no control, it's surrender, God. And there is Karma Yoga, which says a person takes actions and works towards the understanding that you say. You understand? So even here, it's not easy, right? But for us, it's very not simple. This is just my point. Do you understand my point?
No.
Yeah.
But according to your saying, the Eastern people is with regarding to surrender also, they may comparing with the Westerner, they may be somewhat better with regarding to the surrender. But this way of understanding, examining things and finding what is correct, what is not correct, comparing with the Eastern people, Western people may be good because he is tried to their level best, and they can come to the conclusion, right conclusion. So there is no difference between the Western and Eastern people with regarding to my approach. We hear the intellectual approach. We are having only the intellectual approach. We are doing everything for examination. We are not blindly following anything. We are to the extent you can do, your work, you can find out. Then if you feel unable to do, you for example, the road is there. You have to go there. But you can see very well here. But you cannot go to there directly. You have to go through the stairs and get down from the downstairs. Even though you can see the road from here, you cannot jump. If you try, but it is very open. You can examine anything with your open mind. You can try for yourself. Then only you can come to a right conclusion that I cannot do. Then only, so it is very easy. The Westerners can very easily understand because they can very easily test for themselves. The Eastern people is not ready to test anything.
Right.
Here he simply believes.
They're less
So
intellectual.
for the surrender alone they may be capable. For this understanding, comparing with the Eastern people, Western people alone more it is suitable to Western people.
Yeah, we have some strengths.
Because you have some energy, you have some confidence to check and work for yourself. So after you examining and working, then only you have some direct and natural conclusion that we cannot do. So it is a natural response, natural happening. It is not a faith. Only because of our effort, then only you can find out all effort is waste of energy. So you have to do your effort What if you feel you can do something, you can do something. You
Sure.
do something and find out the effort is is not useful. So then only you can have the correct conclusion, correct answer.
But you say this is an intellectual process?
Intellectual process. This is purely intellectual process. There is no faith is not necessary. Because our intellect must say it is impossible to go here.
Don't we give up on things when we feel? Isn't that more of a feeling thing? When we're sad about our powerlessness.
You
This
cannot.
is intellectual.
So the intellect alone is the reason for your. Even though your conditioning is there, the conditional response comes from you. What you have to do, whatever conditionally comes, will go away on its own. But our duty is only in the intellect part. The intellect part must be clear. I have no business to do. It is not an emotional one. It is an intellectual one. The intellect alone has to say what you have to do, what you should not do. It is if you are emotional, you have to jump here. But it is not the emotional one. It is an intellect. The intellect has to say this is not the correct way. This is the right way. So you have to do intentionally. You have to do intellectually. The intellect has to say I have no business. If your intellect says there will be no business, then the emotion will have under your total control. Whatever comes will go away freely.
So everything else will follow the intellect.
Oh, even though it is not under our control, but there is some good combination of your intellect and the emotion. Because the emotion is only the intelligent. It will have some innocence, even though it is emotional. So it will have some energy of innocence. It comes in the innocence level. Whatever comes will goes away very soon. But if you complicate it in the intellectual level, then the total problem will be a complicated one. Then the matter is only intellectual process, not the emotional process.
Is it important though in the process of integration that one is aware of the emotional level?
No,
No,
not
just
necessarily.
apply the mind.
If the mind understand we have no business, you have to understand no business. No business alone you have to understand. If you employ awareness or anything, it is effort.
Okay.
If you employ effort, it is waste of energy. It is a struggling. If you try to struggle, it is an endless struggle. There will be no remedy. There is no end to the struggle. Only because of our struggle, we keep the mind as a struggling mind. Otherwise, the total mind is a liberated mind. Whatever comes, whatever feeling may come, it will roll down. It will go like a river.
And is the understanding is it either you understand completely or you don't understand, or is it a gradual process? Can it be a gradual process of understanding?
But gradual means some development. Here,
yeah.
this understanding only because of trying many ways and examining many ways. This understanding, if you come to this understanding and confirm this is correct, and this is the end of everything. Because we have no business. Then everything goes on its own way. So up to the level of understanding, we have some work. The liberation, regarding the liberation, we have no work. In the area of liberation, we have no work. It is happens. It is a happening. But the liberation is the highest thing. Understanding is only it is only in the periphery level. The enlightenment is in the periphery level. The liberation is the actual thing. That is a happening. That is not understanding. Only when we understand we have no duty, then you allow everything to flow. It is not a conscious allowing. It is a happening. You have no business. So you put down everything. You put down all the psychological structure. You have no business.
And is there a gap between the?
It is a
Is there a gap?
gap between, there
A
is no
gap between the.
because it is all,
enlightenment?
the liberation is already there. There is no, if it is a gap, that means this first and that next.
Yeah.
That is not, it is always there. Only because you are always struggling, you withdraw the struggling. That is what we are doing. You have no business with regarding to liberation. Liberation is a natural flow.
So
Only because of your stop struggling. For example, some water is running, you put down your hand across the river. Some water is struggling, is circling around your hand. So when you remove your hand, the water is running. The circle alone is removed. It is gone.
So the pulling up of the hand is the understanding.
Understand?
So as soon as the understanding is correct, is clear, is
So you have to
certain, you're certain.
Because you should not confuse yourself with the other kind of understanding. If somebody may say we have to do something, we have to do something to correct ourselves. But if you take the word, but you have to work according to the word, and you can try to correct yourself. And if you feel, if you meet failure, then only you can come to conclusion, and you confirm that nothing will do. Then only you can have the understanding. So you have to confirm your understanding, that your understanding is correct. If you are confirmed with yourself, then you will no longer fighting consciously. Your fighting may happen unconsciously, it does not matter. But don't do it consciously.
Okay. So you can have an understanding which might be superficial. And then you investigate it for yourself.
Everything is superficial. There is no deeper level of understanding, no deeper level of examination. Everything is only intellect. All intellect is in the superficial level. So discussion, examination, conclusion, confirmation, everything is in the superficial level. There is no deeper level.
Except for the unconscious.
Unconscious is happening. All happenings, all conditionings, all in the unconscious level. Don't worry about the unconscious level. But if you are certain upon the intellect level and superficial level, everything is okay. The problem is only in the superficial level, not in the deeper level. If the problem is in the deeper level, you can worry about the deeper level. But the problem is in the superficial level. If you are okay in the superficial level, everything is okay. Nothing is a problem.
Because many people feel that they're driven by their unconscious.
But
They will feel a clash.
If
They will
anybody
feel-
let him try.
Right, and then
get
you
the
just feel
failure.
more clash and failure. What about the problem of the emotional response to failure?
Emotional response.
Is that not a problem too? Well, some people say, oh, life is meaningless. I'm a failure. Compared to, oh, life is meaningless. I failed. Two different understandings.
But at the same time, you have to understand, you have no business to correct yourself. So that kind of understanding must have. Meaningless, meaningful, it is. It is meaningless to disturb yourself. It is meaningless. That means I have no business, and if I try to correct myself, it is meaningless. Then that is correct. The total life is meaningless. It is a escaping philosophy.
Okay, so if you're saying if I have this intellectual understanding, then I will never again have the thought, oh, life is meaningless.
So it is not a determination. It is an understanding. If you understand and feel this is correct, you have to give okay to this understanding, then it will operate.
Right, but thought will stop.
You need not expect any happening. Whatever may happen, anything may happen according to your conditioning. You have no business.
Including thoughts.
Including
all
thoughts.
mental- But if the transmission of this understanding is itself intellectual. Are we not
No,
doing
no,
that by
no,
talking
the
now?
understanding is intellectual, but the transmission is not intellectual. It is a happening. The liberation is a happening. It is not intellectual process.
Okay.
But the happening does not mean it's a fixed thing. That means it's a flowing of everything. The flowing is a natural thing. It is a happening. The flowing is not an intellectual affair. Each and every moment we have some feeling, energy. It is a flowing of energy.
It's a flowing of understanding in this situation.
Understanding is, if you understand we have no business, then everything is in the flow only. The flowing alone is there. You need not often remind what you have to do, what you should not do. If you have to renewal your understanding, not necessary. If you understand, it is okay. You need not verify all the time. You can know 2 plus 2 is equal 4. Once it is okay, then in every moment we can use 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 2 is 4. It is not necessary. If once you understand you have no business, then you allow everything on its own.
Right, the philosophy of life is not as simple as mathematics.
But
I find myself, there are many logics, so many perspectives. To say that you're just going to understand one and all the rest are going to mean nothing.
But psychologically there is no place to be understood. We have to be abundant. So what you have to understand is only the external things. The external things you have to understand how to behave, how to manage things, how to deal with the thing, situation. That you have to work. But here, what we have to find out, we have no business to interfere. If you interfere, there will be endless problem. If you do not interfere, all problems will be solved on its own. So that's the thing. So you have to come as soon as possible. You have come very soon. You have to abandon your psychological structure. There is no business for ourselves. The early you understood, the best. Otherwise, it is an endless process. If you have some knowledge about yourself, controlling yourself, shaping yourself, it is an endless process. It will never end. It will, how many births you can take, it will never end. But if you put down the total psychological structure, at the very moment everything is over.
When you're conditioned to think that you need to control everything, you don't trust, you don't have faith that the knowledge is there already. Because if you need to change everything, it's because it's not perfect as it is. So not trusting that the knowledge is there is a big thing, because you have nothing, you cannot surrender because you don't trust. There's no faith.
So you have to work up to the level of understanding. You have to work. You have to doubt yourself. You have to examine in various aspects, and you have to come to a correct conclusion. You can rely upon many facts, many teachers, many teachings, many philosophies, whatever you have available, and you can make use of that. You can come to the right conclusion. And if you come to the right conclusion, everything is okay. This is correct. Then if you come to the correct conclusion, then it will operate. This understanding will operate. But you need again and again you need not come to that conclusion. If you come to the conclusion and it is okay, if you give confirmation to that, and you should not, then afterwards you need not repeatedly doubt your conclusion, that it will not work. But the matter is very simple. The total thing, if you regulate yourself, if you regulate psychological structure, then you have many things to discuss. How you can shape yourself right, how you can put down your some impulses. But here we are abandoning the total structure, not part by part. You are abandoning the total, including yourself. Because the me is also part of the psychological structure. Each and every thought is the psychological structure. We are not away from the psychological structure. We are part of the psychological structure. We are put down totally, including ourselves.
Wouldn't that mean then that every time a thought appears with I in it, that we haven't abandoned the total psychological structure?
But whenever there is thought, there must be me. Without me, there cannot be any thought. So, but when we take some responsibility to deal with the things, then only the me becomes a subject. Otherwise, the me is not a subject. Then when we it gives our responsibility gives strength to the me. Otherwise, the me is without any strength. So because of the strength alone, it creates problem. So if it is not powerful, it will not create any problem. It will be very easily to flow. As each thought goes, the me also goes along the thought. But if he takes any responsibility, it tries to settle down and waiting for the change. Then you create some permanency, artificial permanency to change the situation.
So many teachings try to remove the psychological structure by reducing all thought to, who am I or I am. This is not a valid means.
But it is another way of struggling with universal.
Okay. Even one thought.
But in the preparatory stage, you can try all the ways.
Okay.
But afterwards, you have to understand, no work is not necessary.
I have a question about the mountain, Arunachala mountain. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the mountain, the meaning?
But somebody feels some presence before this mountain. Everything you may have some in your mind and giving some importance. It may be there's many reasons for that vibration, but many feels some vibration here. But everything is helpful in the preparatory stage. But afterwards, if you give importance to this vibration, that means you select some portion of your mind, some portion of your psychological structure.
Some what, sorry? Portion, okay.
Some portion, some part of your mind. So whatever that means, you have several feelings in your mind. That means whether it is created by yourself or created by some other person. That means if you are interested, that means you are interested of the happening of your mind. So if you are happening, or if you interested of the happening of your mind, then you are caught. That then you assume yourself with the subject to receive that portion, and you want try to maintain, and you are trying to maintain for that. So that is not necessary. So whatever comes, it is nice. If good feeling comes, very good. If bad feeling comes, that is also good. So you have to go along with everything. You should know. You should not have any stop to retain something or remove anything.
So practically speaking, there is no need for awareness even. Say the understanding comes.
Understanding? The awareness follows.
Okay.
The awareness is always
So awareness is natural.
natural.
Just in your experience, you found that maybe some old thoughts would come, old feelings come, and you just not even, you don't in any way, you don't do anything with them, you don't reject them, you don't even notice them. No? You're not making any attempt to be aware of what they are, to consciously register them.
So you
No?
So all kind of business I have done in the early process. It is in the preparatory stage you can do anything.
Okay.
I myself have done many things.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so you don't.
Everything, but now, I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
So I allow everything on its own,
Yes, yes, yes.
including myself. Everything is in the flow.
Okay.
There is no somebody as a separate entity to make the flow.
Okay.
I am along with the flow.
So speaking to you, can one bypass these preparatory stages, or is that not possible?
But the preparatory stage is we need not take too many time, because if you are already prepared, you need not wait for the more time.
Right.
For the preparatory stage is only putting foundation, but for foundation work is it is not the end. Afterwards you have to build up the building. So foundation is only for a temporary one. But the matter is, instead of spiritual people, if somebody come with some great problem, some psychological problem, they can very easily understand, because they themselves cannot understand how to deal with their problem. So they can. So you don't deal with the problem, then the very moment they solve their problem. So they can very easily understand how to free from their problem itself. So even an ordinary person without any spiritual knowledge also get the glimpse of this understanding.
So there is a distinction between enlightenment and liberation.
This is
That there is a distinction.
so
Distinction.
Enlightenment is a matter of intellectual one.
Yeah.
But the liberation is not the intellectual one. Liberation is the happening, natural happening. It includes the intellect also.
Yeah.
It includes every feeling, problem, whatever it be, everything is in the liberation. This is a total thing.
But they are simultaneous. Simultaneous, they happen at the same time. When you have the intellectual understanding, the enlightenment, then liberation happens at the same time.
Liberation, there is no end to liberation. Liberation is a natural thing.
Right.
It is not a created one. It is always there.
Okay.
So only thing you are disturbing. So you are stopping the disturbance. You withdraw the disturbance. That alone is happening. So you are not creating the liberation. You are not making liberated. Liberation is there. Our very nature of the mind is in the liberated state. The liberation is dealing with only our mind. You don't expect anything beyond mind. It is only within the area of mind. The mind alone has the problem. The mind alone is the liberated mind. So the liberated mind, that we stop struggling. The stopping of struggling alone happens. When you do not struggle with you become part of the total flow. You submit yourself to be in the flow. That is happening. But it is not a conscious submission.
No. But it is like this.
It happens. Everything is
like this. Yeah. The understanding and then it's like that.
But don't give importance to the liberation itself. Giving importance to the liberation means it is against the intellect part gets some importance. But we have no business to deal with the liberation. So we have to stop our work up to the level of understanding. We should not do anything. We should not imagine liberation, how it be, how it works. Then you can, if you stop struggling, if you withdraw your effort, then you can feel what is happening. You can yourself feel what is happening. You need not expect the discretion from other person's mouth. But everything is in the liberation. But when the struggle stops, everything is there. You need not, no struggle. Then the happening is always there. Whatever comes, let it happen. Some good feeling may come, bad feeling may come, but we should not expect the liberation is a blissful feeling. It is not like that. So that is the flowing of our mind. The flowing alone must be there. Whenever there is a flow, no feeling will have any root. If you struggling with ourselves, all the feelings comes through our mind, try to get some root. That is the problem.
Are you saying that based on enlightenment, liberation then is any moment when there is no struggle and one has returned to being natural?
Already, liberation is already in motion.
But emotional liberation is our what we are.
No,
we're all liberated regardless.
It is the nature of our mind. The very nature of the mind is in the liberated state. But only because of our struggling, the struggling state is the artificial state. It is a created state. But the liberated state is the natural state. We are not creative. If we create it, we have to create again and again.
Okay.
But liberated is not it is a natural state. It is not a created state.
But it only occurs after enlightenment.
But enlightenment, by means of enlightenment, we withdraw our struggling.
Yes.
That alone is
definition.
How that alone is we are doing. We are not creating anything. We are not getting anything. We have simply get away from the business.
Thank you. Let's go. We have to go to
Oh.
Thank you very much.
possibility.